Hi, we're Todd and Louise Dixon, and we're going to present to you tonight some steps that will help you with your pivot footwork.
This is an intermediate level step that will really improve your dancing. If you can do a pivot step, you're a great shag dancer. So we're going to go through a combination that will help reinforce the basic step of the pivot, and then we're going to do one pivot turn also. So what we want to teach for you tonight are some steps with the basic pivot footwork. And we're going to put it together in a combination for you that we think will help you improve your pivot turns. So we've got three steps that we'll put together, and what we want to do is we're going to demonstrate with music, then we're going to demonstrate it without music at a little slower pace, and then we will slow it down and teach you the basics step by step. So we hope you'll join us in learning the pivot steps and one of the pivot turns.
This will be the demonstration with music.
And what we're going to do for these three sections, we're going to put a shag basic step in between each of the sections because we think it'll make it easier for you to learn. When we actually dance this, we don't do the pivot, the basics in between. So we'll be teaching you this. This is the slow demonstration. But what we want to show first is the pivot step so that you can be watching our feet for the pivot step. So it looks like this. We'll do it to the front and then to the back so you can watch it. It's going to be 1 and 2, step, step, 3 and 4, 5, 6. We'll do it again, and remember that we're exaggerating our steps so that you can see our feet. And we'll turn around. So guys, watch Todd, and the girls watch me. Ready, and 1 and 2. Step, step, 3 and 4, 5, 6. So you'll know to watch that. So the way that we want to practice this with you is to do a basic and then the first pivot footwork, and we will be doing a step we call around the block. Then we'll do another basic, and then the second step we call a shampoo turn, and then another basic, and then the third and final section to this is a hug pivot. So it starts like this. We're going to do a basic, and we're going to change hands. Todd changes hands in the basic, so we wind up in a cross hand position.
So when I'm making that change, you want it to be very slow. And so that's another reason why we keep this hand up as opposed to letting it just dangle down here. So when I come in on the 1 and 2, 1 and 2, basically I'm just turning her hand over. She doesn't really even notice that I've changed hands, but I have right there on that 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. So now we're in a cross hand position instead of regular shag basic hand.
So it looks like this. Ready, basic. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. From this cross hand position, we're going to pass each other on the 1 and 2. 1 and 2. We're going to step passing back to back beside each other on the step, step. And ladies, we have to cross over with our left foot in front. Step, step.
And guys, basically all we've done is step to the right. We haven't crossed over our feet at all.
That was step, step. And then on 3 and 4, we come pass back. We're both moving backwards to our places. 3 and 4, 5, 6. So it looks like this. From the cross hand position, we call this around the block. Ready, and 1 and 2, step, step, 3 and 4, 5, 6. And the reason we're doing this footwork is to get our shag friends used to doing the 1 and 2, step, step, 3 and 4, 5, 6. Because that's the pivot footwork. So watch this around the block again. Just start with the basic. And 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. 1 and 2, step, step, 3 and 4, 5, 6. So that's the first section. The second section of these pivot steps is going to be, we'll do a basic again, and this is going to be a shampoo. Since you already know the basic, let's go right into the shampoo. It looks like this. We'll demonstrate, then I'll talk it through you. So we're going to go 1 and 2, step, step, 3 and 4, 5, 6. So what we're doing is, and you need to just practice this without the feet. Just practice. We're passing by each other. It's like an underarm turn for me. I'm turning to my left. Step, step, and then 3 and 4, I'm back into place.
And ladies, in this particular step, it's very important to remember that you follow your dance hand. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing Louise this way. She's following her hand. I come over, I bring it down. She turns. I'm coming around. She keeps following the hand. I bring it down, and she turns again. So I'm using that to turn her. It looks good because you're going up and down. I add some dynamic to it, but it also is very functional for her because it helps her make those turns.
And so we're exaggerating every time we teach. We're exaggerating the steps. When we actually dance this, it's very close. Step, step, over my head, and really smooth. So let's start with the basic, and we'll try this step. So basic, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. 1 and 2, and I'm turning to my left. Step, step, and I keep turning to my left. 3 and 4, 5, 6.
So one thing, guys, which you need to remember too is Louise is turning, and she's turning counterclockwise, and basically I'm turning clockwise, but I never put my back to her. And so I basically just go around in a big circle around her as she's turning. So it looks like this. 1 and 2, step, step, 3 and 4, 5, 6. So I am always looking at her as she's doing her turns.
And you might want to just practice this walking around a few times, turning to the left without doing the steps, so you get the feel of it. And our hands stay pretty much in the middle of us and tight over my head when he's doing that. Okay, so let's try this again with the basic and the shampoo turn. And 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. 1 and 2, step, step, 3 and 4, 5, 6. So that's the second part. The third part is going to be a basic, and we're putting the basics in so you can get your balance and so you can remember what's ahead when you put the combination together. So, and then it's going to be a hug pivot. So you already know the basic. When he brings me in, do you want to talk about bringing me in for the hug pivot?
So when I bring her in for the hug pivot, it's similar to a regular pivot where you bring the hand down and come in. But this time, since we're going into a hug, I bring, there's really no stopping. It's a continuous movement. And so I bring her hand down like this, bring her in, and then just put her hand on my shoulder.
And I step toward him because he's leading me that way. So it looks like this, and we'll put a basic in front of it and then do the hug pivot. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 1 and 2, step, step, 3 and 4, 5, 6, and then a simple tuck turn to come out of it. So what our feet are doing when we come in, 1 and 2, we've already started. On the 1, he's bringing me in. 1 and 2. And then I'm stepping to the side in front, and he steps behind himself. Step, step. And then brings me all the rest of the way around. 3 and 4, 5, 6. So off of a 5, 6, this is what that looks like. 5, 6. 1 and 2. Step, step. 3 and 4, 5, 6. And then the tuck turn out. 5, 6. So let's try putting all 3 sections together. With a basic in between. Ready, basic. 1 and 2. You changed hands. 5, 6 around the block. 1 and 2. Step, step. 3 and 4, 5, 6. Basic. 3 and 4, 5, 6. Shampoo. Step, step. 3 and 4, 5, 6. Basic. Now we're going to do a hug pivot. 5, 6. 1 and 2. Step, step. 3 and 4, 5, 6. 1 and 2. 3 and 4, 5, 6.
One thing you'll notice too, with a hug pivot, many times when people are just doing a regular pivot, they're not sure which way they're supposed to be looking. Are we supposed to be exactly square? And there's a lot of different things to think about. When you do a hug pivot and you come in, basically you're there. It sets you up and makes it a little bit easier to feel that pivot motion, to understand which way you're going and where you should be looking, all that kind of stuff, because you're in a firm frame, if you will, when you're doing that pivot step.
So we'll demonstrate one more time, then you're on your own. Ready, and 1 and 2, 3, changed hands, 5, 6, around the block, step, step, 3 and 4, 5, 6, basic, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 1 and 2, step, step, 3 and 4, 5, 6, basic, and now the hug pivot, 5, 6, 1 and 2, step, step, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. We hope you've enjoyed this Shag Pivot Step workshop. We have other videos online, and we'll add on to this one because there's lots of variations of the pivot for you to learn.
Thank you so much for being with us this evening.